Hello and welcome to another Nikomedia tutorial. So today we will recreate this one here, and this is done in Octane. Yeah, maybe you can see it because this whole blooming and this is Octane. But I think we can do something similar with the physical render as well. It will not look like this, but something like this. So today we will make this in physical render. For Octane, patrons can already download this project file. And yeah, so let's do this with physical now. And the physical file will be later available as well, of course. Good, so let's start here. So let's what's here open? What's that? Ah, yeah, this is one of my last things. Yeah, this is for download as well already. This is wait, this is from here, Nikomedia. Yeah, this tutorial is for patrons online as well. And yeah, this is the Homer thing where I can download the project file, and we will make an yeah, tutorial for this as well, but this will be a free tutorial where we use Mixamo and yeah. Okay, so I would say let's start. So to make this whole pyramids here, I got the idea, as I have seen, I don't know where exactly, but I have seen a Blender thing where someone made this uh, in seconds more than less. It will be with the node graph, with the Blender nodes. They seem to be much better than the Cinema 4D nodes, at least at the moment. So I have no idea how we could do this with the nodes in Cinema 4D. But I found another way. It's not so heavy to do. It's a little manual work, but it's nothing really. Yeah, nothing what we couldn't do. So let's start with a simple platonic here with tetra. And I use the tetra because when I could use, of course, here the cone as well, and go down here and go down here and go down here to, let's say, 150. But here we have here that is at a point, and I don't need this point, and this point we don't have in the platonic. You see here, we don't have this. So, and yeah, and I did not want to make this editable, so I used the platonic. So the next step is I copy this platonic and put it in a cloner. So the cloner I set to object, and the object will be this platonic. No, come on. And I want to distribute on the vertices, and I don't want to align the clones. So you see, when we hide this one, we have our first thing here, which looks quite nice. And now what I do, I simply have to make this always editable. So I make this clone editable, so I put it in the connect, make it editable with C on the keyboard, and then I clone this again on this platonic, but this platonic I have to make as big as this one is now. So I have to be here. I have 100 now, so I go to 200. Now I have exactly the size here, and so I go to my connect again. I make a cloner, set the cloner to object. Now this is the bigger platonic. Set it again to vertices, no, and we have this one here, which is fine. And I do this one or two times more, so I think 2 times. So I make this cloner editable, so connect and C on the keyboard, then I bring this in, so now we should make always the double, so 100, 200, this should be 400 then. Yep, perfect. So again, clone object, oops, here the platonic, vertices, nope, and we have the next one, and one more. So make this editable again. C on the keyboard, the platonic should now be 800 here. Let's see if we are right. Yes, we are. And bring it again in the cloner. You see, it's not really a lot of work, so this is just... Okay, that's enough. We have this nice thing here. So I put this again in the clone, in the connect, C on the keyboard, can delete this one, and we have our building here. So and this is quite nice. So I really hope that Maxon continues with the nodes, but we hear nothing about the nodes. This is it's really sad. So okay, now I want to make here of course some bevels. I don't want these hard edges here, so I take a bevel deformer. So I hold my shift key. The bevel deformer is down here now, so because I have here a 2K resolution now. This is a 4K monitor, so it's no problem with shift C. I go with bevel, and you see I get my bevel. Hold my shift key, so it becomes a child here. Let's see, 3 centimeter and 3 subdivisions. That looks quite nice. Maybe more. Yeah, okay. But you see, now they are not connected anymore because the bevel deformer rounds the edges up. So but I want them to be connected. So how can we do this? With a simple thing. We go to the connect in the polygon mode. So we can click here on the polygon mode. I have it on my keys here. Normally it's the key 3 to go in the polygon mode. And now right click here, normal transform and a normal move. So go to the normal move, and I simply click now on the left mouse button and drag it to the right, so it makes it bigger. And when I go in the object mode, I can see, okay, this is too much. So I go back here. So, okay, that looks nice. A little less. So, yeah, perfect. Okay. And I make this editable as well, so current state to object, and perfect, we have our nice pyramids here. Let's save this. Oops, where am I? Good. Go to temp. Pyramids. Yeah, tutorial. Okay. Now this would be nice, of course, but we want now to rotate the pyramids a little bit. And some people said they can for sure not do this animation here because of the glass and everything. This is no glass, this is just a metal. And you see, each one of these pyramids rotates a little bit, not much, so it's just a little bit slight rotation. And that's and what we see in here, this glitter, this is just a reflection of the Hdri what I have around this thing here, and a little thin film and so on. So, and we will try to recreate this in physical render. Okay, let's continue. first I put this whole thing here in a fracture object. Fracture. And not a very annoy fracture, a normal fracture. Well, a annoy fracture would work as well, but let's use a normal fracture. So explode segments and connect. And now, first of all, I want to give this a rotation. So each one a random rotation for each thing. But I don't want to animate this. This is just the starting point for the animation. So go to my fracture and go to the random effector. The random effector should only go here in the 360 and let's say, yeah, let's go to 360 here. That's enough. And I want to set it to noise here. I don't want any animation here, so go to 0. But I want to scale up the noise so that we see a noise. This looks just like a mess here. I want to see slightly a noise in this whole thing. So when I go up, you see, okay, now it starts to see something like a noise inside here. This looks nice for me, something like that. Okay, that's fine. And now I make a plane effector. So I go to and the plane effector is just for the rotation. I go to the rotation and I animate this rotation from, let's say, from 0 to 720 or 360. This is how you like it. Let's try. So in the first frame here, it's frame 0, I make a keyframe. Then I go to the last frame. I know that I don't change my timeline, so I don't need my align to things to express the thing that I normally use. So, okay, 720. So that means we should get now a nice 720 rotation on each one of them. That looks great. And we will also rotate the pyramid itself. This we can do here. Let's go to the coordinates on frame 0. Then I go to the last frame and see 360 here. And let's see what we get. Okay. That works so far. But I want that the pyramid rotates in the so clockwise and not counterclockwise. So go to the last frame and take minus 360. What? No, I don't want to render. Okay. Shit, I wanted to do the save it, not to render. So now it's okay. It goes in the direction I want. Nice. And now we can start to see how we can make a nice render with the physical render here. So in my original file I used the studio. Here you can make some background, whatever you want, but I have in my scene rigs here, Scene Rig Ultimate, I have here somewhere the studio. Should have a studio here. Where is the studio? Studios now. I can take it from here as well. So I have the Studio L. Normally it should be in the Ultimate as well, but I can use it here because I don't need the texture here. Shift F2, so. And you will see that this is very, very small. This is here my studio. So let's bring the studio to a position where we can use it. So first I bring it down here, so, and back here, far back. So now I go to my studio and scale up the y-axis. You see, same I do with the z-axis. Whoops. Okay. and I want a much smoother offset here, so I can make the offsets. And you see I cannot go over this 500 here, but I want to go further, and this is an easy thing to fix here. You make this in the user data, you go to the user data, manage user data. When you have something, when you get some files where you have user data or something else, so you can change this. This is mostly done, so you go to the offset here, and you see here is a max, limit max, so this is 500. I just disable the max here and go to OK, and now I can go over it as far as I want. Okay, and now I want more subdivisions here, of course, so that it looks nice around here. Okay, let's go in front. Let's make a camera first here, so, and I set the camera to 0 here, 0, 0, 0, and then I go back here, so, somewhere like here, so down here, and maybe go up a little bit, so something like that. Okay, set this to 0, set this to -8 or so. Okay, here to 0, and now we are nice in the middle here. That looks quite good. So, and back to the studio here. Scale up the Y until it extends the thing here, you see, and now of course the X. Okay, we have our studio. Save this. And yeah, the next thing is, as I said, you don't have to have the studio. You can make a background whatever you want. And you can do this with easy things. Let's say, but I show you how you can make this quick, so that you know that you don't need this. So let's make a cube here. Not cube. The cube is here. Let's make a cube. I make this cube editable, see on the keyboard, go in edge mode and delete some edges here, this, and this. So, okay. Now I can make this as big as I want, so when I go to edge mode and select this all here, with T for scale, I can scale it this direction. Oops, back. Then I can go to here and bring this up, so this is the y-axis, this is the z-axis, so, and here you can put a simple bevel on it. So we have just this one edge here, so you can simply put a bevel under this thing here. Nope. Again, we don't see it, so Shift C, bevel, and here in the bevel you can bevel this how much you want, and you have the same. But it's easier if you have everything in one place, and so you can make your backdrop here. Okay. Good. The next step is we need, of course, something to reflect now in our scene. So we need an HDRI. You can use now a sky object and put an HDRI on it or something else, but I of course use my scene rig here, and I don't need here anything. I need just the HDRI, and for the HDRI I will use the same as in the original one, that was this one here. Okay, let's go back here, maybe so. And now we need some materials here. Let's first make a material for the background here. And I have this somewhere, let's see, pyramids on my other monitor. Yep, okay. So I make a new material. So I don't need here the diffuse. I make here color. dark, and here I have a material. This is this one I used, but I used this in Octane. I used this with the displacer, but for the displacer in physical render we need a lot of subdivisions here, and we don't have it. So we will try to make this just with bump or normal map. So, or if you really give this a lot of subdivisions, and then it's okay as well. You can make it with a displacer here. So let's bring this in, this material. But I want this in the. First, let's try this in the bump. So, whoop, bring it in. Wait a little bit. No, I don't. Make this at the end. So I bring this up to 100 here. And let's see what we get here. Bring this on our studio, and it looks quite nice. Let's make this smaller, 25, something like that. That would look nice, yes, but now I want to try to render this without GI, because GI would take quite long to render. We can try it. So I bring everything in. So I bring in a low GI, a low, a mid GI, a mid, and a high GI, and high. So now I should have everything in here. Okay. And I start with low. Physically, you see this is very fixed low, blah blah blah, very low settings. Good. And then I go now to the render previews. Yeah. So see, we don't even see our bump here. It is here, but we don't see it. So let's go to 200 maybe. Now it's slightly, we see it, very slightly. So what we can try, we can use a normal map as well. So I copied this one. I don't have a normal map for this, but we have one thing here, and this is in the effects a normalizer here, and this converts a black and white material to, in the best case, to a normal map. So we go inside and we paste in here our normal map, and let's say we go to 200. Let's don't overshoot. Yeah, we see something here. And let's try it here to 200. Yeah, we see something. That's okay. Good. But of course, this is just to have a preview. So. But we can already think. I can test something. When we make here, let's go to middle. Oops, middle, and make a preview. Renders quite fast. It looks really not so bad when you think we have Denoiser and everything. And you see this is very fast. So let's render a real thing here. So current frame is okay. Let's go here to 800. So that's much. Not given 800. Shift R. And you see the renders really fast. If we put on this denoiser, and we have a nice render. But when we do the same with GI, without global illumination, we don't need global illumination here. Let's go here to 800. It works much slower. But we get, of course, a nicer result, because we will get some shadow under the pyramids, what we don't get with without GI, but we will later on. We will try to fake GI so that we get really nice render times with the look of GI. Don't care about the noises and something else. And I just want to show you the difference here. Do we see it already? Yeah, you see it already, the difference between these two renders, with and without GI. And we will add depth of field and everything. And we will show you how you can get bloom if you have a version where you already have the magic bullet looks. I played a little around with it, and we can fake this bloom. Bloom is fake, but we get a quite nice bloom. So, but you see the render time, as the first render was 11 seconds and now we are up at 2 minutes almost. But it is a difference. We have here small shadows, but we will get there. So let's delete this. These are some tests with the bloom. Good. So let's stay with middle. Okay. Because this gives us a great, nice and quick preview. So now let's make a material for the pyramids here. And as I said, the colorful look is just because of the HDRI in the background. So you see that the HDRI is a quite colorful one. It has lots of colors and so double click it. So this is, so you get nice colors inside. Good. So we make a new material. So you can, of course, you can double click here in the material manager and you get a new material as well. But here you have to bring down the specular to 0. And yeah, the same is here. So the diffuse, don't want to diffuse. Specular to 0. Here I don't want almost no reflection. Then we need metal, so I go to conductor. And I want this like a mirror, and the mirror would be here. It's an IOR of 1. So here we are not totally white, you see. So we go to bright white here, and this should be it for now, for the moment. Put this on our fracture object or connected, doesn't matter where. And let's see what we get here. At the moment it does not look so, but you see here we get already some nice things. So we can try to do IOR, we can try difference. One would be mirror, but let's go to 8. This will not change a lot, I think. This is the same like mirror nowadays, yeah. But 3 or so will make it darker. Now let's stay with 1 here for the moment. And we can make this brighter, of course. But there are some ways. I can go to here, to the brightness, and can go up to, let's say, 150. See, that makes it brighter. And I can stay with 100, and can, if you have the scene rig, you can go to here. These values work only with GI here, but the reflection brightness, if you go up with this, let's say to 20, this will be much. So we see immediately what it does. And this could be something I like. So as I said, you can go here up with the brightness. So and now I want some color in this whole thing. And for this I use here in the color layer the thin film shader. So this is of course down here. So let's bring this up a little bit. The effects. Thin film, here it is. You see, this is the thin film shader. And in the thin film shader, we have the 500. This thing you can play with this. You get immediately a nice preview here what this will do. But I go here to 1000 and want a variation in this whole thing. So I make a texture, and for this texture I use a noise. Quite big noise, so let's go to 1000. And I go to object here, so, and here I want a variation of, let's say, 500. So that is maybe a little too much, so get 200 and 500 here. Let's see what we get when we go here. This is, of course, this does nothing with the thin film shader, but 5. Let's go to 2 here. I want it colorful. Yeah, that looks not bad. This looks a little weird here. Is this? Yeah, this is the noise here. Make the noise even bigger. That makes no difference at all. But we are not done. We can here go now here to the texture, make here another noise, and in this noise I put in a colorizer. So, and the colorizer I make very colorful, and noise make bigger, so 500. Strength to 70 maybe. Yeah, let's now set the mix mode to multiply, and let's go here up with the brightness. Better. But let's see if this noise thing helps us. I'm not entirely sure here. Maybe I delete the noise for here. And delete this one and go back to 500 here. I think that looks best for now. You should try it, so you've seen now what you can do, the things, steps you can do. Change. Yeah, I would say the noise here was not the worst thing. Colorizer. Oopsie. That looks not bad. Maybe we should make it a little smaller. Yeah? want to see all the colors in here. And now we have the white as well. It is colorful, definitely, but don't want here to distribute the knots and compress it a little bit. So, oh, this is maybe a little too colorful. Let's go to 2000 and maybe to object or to world or somewhere. Yeah, that looks not bad. Give it here maybe minus 200. Or I stay here with 150. I know here with 200 is better. We could go up here in the rig, but don't forget when you go up here with the reflections, it is on the background as well. Then so. But this looks not bad for me. So let's. Yeah, that's how we get nice reflections here. Of course, we could use different HDRIs, so you don't have to use this HDRI. You can see maybe here we have a nice green tint here. That looks not bad. 250 maybe. Yeah, now you get colorful things going here. Okay, that looks nice. Good, let's stay with this and let's see how we get a nice render for this. So as I said, let's make now first of all, let's make some depth of field here. So we go to the camera, physically. First of all, in the focus object, I drag in my connect here. This is my focus. And then physically, and as smaller this number, as more depth of field you will get. So I start with 0.5 here. We can try to have a preview here, so depth of field. That shows us 0.1. Yeah, now you see we get preview, but this is mostly not the same what we see in the. But and don't forget, if you render in the physical render with depth of field, you have to activate depth of field here in the physical render. So save this and we render this one frame here. Why is this so small? Because I'm here. Now come on, I want go to 100% here, sir. Okay, that looks very grainy. But we have a very fast render here. Good, we can go up with, we can try high. So go to high. You see the render settings here, so and run it. Oh, come on, okay, Shift R. Okay, and why don't see anything here? Ah, it's still very grainy, but this is the depth of field. But we have still a very quick render, so we can go to. But let's try the same render like this. Let's try the same now. Is this? I'm here on, yeah, 1080. I want here just 800. It's enough. The same now we try to with the GI activated. So Shift R, and you see this needs much longer, but of course we will get a better. But this makes, when you render an animation, this makes no fun. So let's try to fake some GI. First of all, let's have a look what we get here. Let's render this again. I know these render parts are boring, but we have to do, I have to do this for myself as well. Render until I'm happy with it. I know it's boring, but we are very quick here, so that means I can go to the physical render here. And this is blurriness here. So we can go with the blurriness subdivisions to 3 or maybe 4. Let's try 4. Shift R. Makes it not really better because this is, yeah, this is the depth of field. This is not really blurriness, this is depth of field. So here we can go down to 0. Here we can go down to 0. We don't have ambient occlusion there. Shadow we don't have even a shadow, maybe later. So we gone from 2 to 4. Yeah, we see definitely a difference, but in the render time 2 as well. So now let's try the denoiser. And sometimes the denoiser really makes, most of the time the denoiser makes great work, but sometimes it can be that it washed out, it washes out the structure you have inside. So if you have something like that, of course we could use here a background without a bump or something else. It would look nicer, but not so exciting. So that is something we could use. That is nice here. We have great reflections here. And now what I miss is a little shadow here. Maybe I can show this with the middle and middle GI here. So I go to middle and make a render. So this is 800, this is okay. Maybe we see it here. So see, this is a great big render, and now middle GI, Shift R, and I will pause this until it's ready so that we can later on have a look on it. See you in a second. So now we see the difference. It does not look so much, you see, but what I see, you see here without GI we don't have any shadows or something else here, but here we have slight shadows, and I think that this makes it, you know, when this whole thing animates, rotates, and you see the shadow, that is something you won't miss. So let's try to bring this in without GI. So boing, we don't need GI. Good. For this we use a light. You can use a normal area light, but I have here my things here in the scene rig. We have a softbox, and I drag in the softbox here. And this is, and you can use a normal area light. This is the thing. So the softbox, you see here, there's the points here. This is just the softbox. You can use whatever you want to see. This is when you have a window. This is, you see, this is now quads, or I use just round corners. You see this, and this is just what you want to see in the reflections. This is not a light at all. This is the reflection. But what I want is light. So I go first. I want to go away with the distance of my thing here. So the distance you will see now. I go far away. And now I need a fall off that touches the floor. So let's go to the fall off and make the fall off higher. You will see that we will have a preview of the fall off if we make everything correct. If we make everything correct, we should have a preview. Why don't I have a preview? A preview. Oh, because the light is not enabled. I have to enable the light. Now, you see, now we have the preview. So this should be fine. Don't need a lot of light. Let's say 50 maybe. And of course I need shadow. Area shadows needs the longest time to render, gives it the nicest shadows. But in this case I need just some soft shadows, nothing more. So this is totally okay. And save everything. And this should it be. And now let's go with Shift F6 to other things here. So this was the GI render. This was without GI, this was the GI render. And now let's try to render this without GI and the light inside. So Shift R. We should get about this 16 seconds here, maybe a little longer. But we should get shadows. I think I see shadows here. So this is without the light, no shadows, no nothing. This is with the light, we have shadow, and this is GI. You see, now with the light, it looks almost better than with GI. And if I want to see more shadow, no problem. You see, we have 25 seconds now render time. There's nothing. So here you can do the same here in a normal light. The shadow density I can set to 250 or 200, yeah, as I want. You can do the same in light. So when I go to my softbox and make it visible, this is the normal area light here. And you see, when you go to the shadow tab of the area light, you have here the density, everything. The shadow maps make how accurate you want the shadows. But in this case I want very soft shadows, so 250 is enough for me. You can go up here, you see this is yeah, that's it here. What can I say more for this? Yeah, the fall off you will have to, so you have to, this is the details you have to fall off normally. So you here see radius decay, this is the fall off. So you have everything with a normal area light. So this is a normal light object. Okay. So we have made now the shadow density to 200. Render this again, Shift R. I wanna, at the end, I always try with physical render to come to render time of 1 minute, 1.5 minutes for an animation. And this we will get with a nice result. Yeah. You see. Maybe let's see what we have now. It changes, but not a lot. Don't know if we can overdo this when I go here to, let's say, 500 and render this. We should definitely see that we get more shadows. not really. Why is this? Let's see what we have here. Maybe I have to make the light a little brighter. Brighter light should give more shadow, if you ask me. Yeah, now we definitely have more shadow here. This is now more shadow. And yeah, and this is what I like. So, yeah. This is, I want the contrast here, but this is a little, but these are things we can make in the post work. So, so far so good. Let's see. But I have the shadows inside, I don't need them so prominent. 50 was okay for me. Here to 200, that was totally okay for me. Maybe give it really, yeah, I have to update this, I have to write this down, I have to update this because I don't have any settings here for the shadow maps. This I have to make, so, okay. 1 second, I write it down on the side here. Okay. Good. So we have this. Now let's try to get rid of this grain and stay with a good render time. So we stay with middle, I would say, or let's go to high. We can stay with middle here. We can go to high as well. So we have the denoiser in here. This is okay. Physical render depth of field. 5453 is okay. 4 is okay. Let's see what we get with these settings here on render time. As I said, if you don't make any patterns on the background, you get not this grain, of course. Yeah, now I like this. Here I have my shadow, what I want. That looks nice. And this is about 1 minute. This is okay. It is a minute. Then with the Denoiser and everything. Look at this, nice. And this we can use. Let's see the original file here. Look, this is almost the same here. Here I used more triangles, but you see, this is very washed out. Look like here. We can make here more depth of field, of course, but I think that we'll destroy this whole thing a little bit. You know, let's try to do this without bump and normal. So, simple thing here. So we don't need any depth of field as well, so we save render time. Let's have a look how this looks. It looks of course grainy now, but the denoiser will bring this away, but much easier than with the pattern, of course. And if I use a different Hdri, this would change the thing again. So, but with the of course now the reflections on the floor look great. Yes, this is something nice too. And now the magic of the denoiser. This looks not bad. And imagine this with the animation. Wow, great. But let's try it really looks nice, hey. But let's try. So we are happy with this. But here we have some problems. I don't know what this exactly is. Let's try a different HDRI here. But I want something colorful, of course. So let's go to indoor. And normally I would, let's try my thing here. So let's bring this in. So make here. What if I go to here and make reflectance? It's with the roughness. It's always a thing with the physical render. Yeah, with 25. This now looks very bright. Shift R. But we can go down with the brightness in the material and on the HDRI with the reflection brightness. Just wanna see if we have here these strange things as well. But this looks great. No, I take the other one. Just wait if I see this. Here we don't have this ugly thing. See here, I have something inside. And maybe this is from the reflections, but I'd really like this with the golden light here, and so then the dark. This looks really nice. So I go back to until I have my old HDRI. Control C, Control C. So here, save, and I simply will make here in the physical render one more or two more subdivisions. I wanna go up here. I wanna have a really nice thing here. So as I said, 1 or 1.5 minutes is for me okay for a frame, for an animation. I could go up with the sampling subdivision as well. And then we will see how we can bring in this some bloom on parts like this here, or this here, or this here. Oh yes, I like this one. I like the color flow there. So maybe if we can go down here to 4 and go to sampling subdivision to 6. The shading we don't need it, there is many things. Go here to 2. But as I said, here you can try it. So yeah, now we got rid of this. See, check this ugly thing here. Now when we are gone up here to 5 or 6 where I've been, and now this is gone. And the render timer 2 minutes is a little much, so that's. But okay, so for now this is the case, and now try to get this some bloom inside here. And for this we go to File here and send to Magic Bullet Looks. This makes much bigger. So, okay. And here I go to the tools. I don't need the looks here, make my own looks. Oops, okay. And go to the tools. Oops. No camera, yes. This optical diffusion here. But as you see, immediately we get some bloom here. Here we can say whatever we want. Go to density 200. You see that blooms it out, but blooms it out. 50 size. I want to go here to 100%. Zoom is 100. This is 100%. This can't be 100%. I want to see this in full. This is not full. Nope, but I see this is compromiser. I don't know. This is not a full resolution here. It doesn't matter. In the render, it will be a full resolution, hopefully. So this looks nice. We can even bring in a glow, but glow is a little harsh. You see, this is 5, maybe a little bit. And if we want to, yeah, we are on 100% here. So, and let's go to the tools again. And we have here that this star filter, we can be crazy and put in something like a star filter, but very slight. This is maybe not. Something like that. Where is okay? And now okay. And you see, okay, this is a little too much. So, but now we can really get this, and you see in the render settings we have it. So if we render now an animation, we get this on each frame, and we have our bloom inside, but this is definitely too much. So I bring out the star filter here and delete the glow here and go to this fall off 20. No, fall off is okay with 100. Size 10, but the density 400. Yeah. Yeah, highlights only. I want only highlights. Yeah, this is what I want. Now I can make this size a little bigger. Yeah, now. Okay. Do something. We did it new. Okay, that doesn't matter. So let's make it last render and then we are done. I don't render the whole animation, of course, because we know that the animation works. So it must loop, because we have 360 degrees and 720 degrees rotation. So it can only loop. Now let's see what we get. And if we stay with our, what do we have now here? So we have here 5, 6. We should get a good render time and a good result. Yeah, it makes still fun with the physical render, but of course, if you have to make a job, you cannot work. Nobody pays at the time to render time. So this is. And look at this. And now imagine this with a nice animation. It looks so smooth. Very nice. Yeah, I was not really I thought and did not really try the magic bullet looks. So, but for this now, I thought somewhere must be something like this. But now, if you can make a bloom and something else, this is, of course, this is nice. No? Yeah, okay, we are done. So I hope you like this one, and next tutorial will come as soon as possible. I wanted to make this weekend little more, but I got visit and I'm not really in shape at the moment, but I will do my best in the next tutorial. Look at this nice shadow here. The next tutorials will come soon, and of course I don't stop with free tutorials. Free tutorials will come as well, but I make more tutorials for patrons. Of course, they pay for it and they should get more. So okay, yeah. Speaking about Patreon, you will find the project files and everything on Patreon. We have now over, I think, about 330 posts only for patrons, and this is just tutorials for patrons only, project files, the miscellaneous downloads like texture packs and something else, scripts and something else, and so on. So I think it's worth. And from next month on, the Patreon will be a little more, so go from $5 to $7.50, because everything will be or becomes more expensive and expensive and expensive. And yeah, and I decided to go a little up, so the $1 Patreon will be a $2 Patreon, the $5 Patreon will be $7.50, and the $10 Patreon will be 13 then, so nothing much. So okay, so look at this nice result, and I would say, yeah, that's it. Have a wonderful evening, and yeah, stay safe, stay yeah, healthy. And if you have questions, requests, complaints, please let me know in the comments or on my Facebook site or on our Facebook group, or wherever you find me, you can ask me, and I always try to answer every question. So yeah, you know this meanwhile, I think, all these things I say. Okay, so if you want to support me on Patreon, link in the description. If you want to just say, oh, I don't want to support Patreon, but I would like to donate a little bit, a coffee or two, or an Uzo or three, and so you can do this via Patreon, link in the description as well, and that's it for now. All the best, hier from Austria, Vienna, und tschüss und baba.